Welcome back to Erie News Now at 5:30. Congressman Mike Kelly announced today that he plans to run for re-election, hoping for a 7th term serving our area. And the congressman joins us now today. Congressman, let's start with this. You've been in Washington now for more than a decade. What makes you want to go back for more?
You know what? There's still a lot of work to be done. And I think that we look at the country today, especially, and I think we're in one of those positions where as much as the greatest nation in the world is really mounting the greatest debt the world has ever known, I think there's a great concern with the stability going forward at every front that we're on. And I don't, the pandemic's been a lot of the problem, but other policy I think has really interfered. But from my position, there's nothing better for me than to be able to go back to Washington, D.C., represent 705,687 people from Pennsylvania, and bring those ideas to Washington as opposed to bringing Washington's ideas back home here to Erie.
Let's talk a little bit more about that. As you announced your bid for re-election, you talked about constant daily threats that our freedoms face. What are those, and what do you plan to do about them?
Well, I think the greatest threat we face right now is the fact that there's so much infighting right here in our own country. And people ask me about, well, why can't you all work together? Well, we can work together if we're given the opportunity to work together. I do know now that if you look around the world, globally, there's problems everywhere. There's nobody that feels safe and feels that their economy is doing really well. But when we're threatened, the way we're threatened right now with our inability to work together, that creates an excellent opportunity for bad actors around the world. So I think when I look at Washington, D.C. right now, when I look at what my role would be, I'm a conservative person. I'm conservative both socially and also fiscally. And I really wonder, on a fiscal basis, we cannot live our lives the way the government is living their life right now. Nobody would run their private life with continued borrowing, continued spending that's really out of control, and think that the future looks bright and sunny for us because the path I'm on is stable. It's not stable right now. We have a lot of problems around the world. And the one thing I know, the only country, the only nation that ever is going to intervene when there's a tragedy is the United States of America. And so we have to make sure that we are as solid as we can possibly be. And that's through really good, rock-solid policy that makes sense going forward and is sustainable.
Congressman, thanks. Congressman Mike Kelly announcing his bid for a 7th term in Congress. We'll be right back.